Welcome back, family travelers. Today is Travel Tip Tuesday normally. We're just going to do travel talk because there was an article recently that kind of just...
Sometimes you come across those articles that just really get you going.
Looking at you, Japan Airlines.
So we figured we might do some occasional just sit down and chat about things in the news because it's important stuff.
Very.
Just get right into what we're talking about here.
Japan Airlines.
So we came across this article the other day about Japan Airlines, and I'm just going to read this CNBC article and what it says so that you know what we're talking about here. So the article is titled, Japan Airlines introduces child icon tool to help passengers avoid sitting near young children. So you can probably guess what that means just from the title, but it goes on to say that, and we'll just get into what it is that they're doing. So Japan Airlines has a new feature on their booking system that will show an icon on the seat map to show you where young children are seated, if they have selected a seat assignment. Yeah. The icon will apply to children...
8 days.
From 8 days up until 2 years old.
Yep.
So kids that are older than 2, they won't have an icon display. This is purely for like baby age or young children.
Which is point one of the silliness.
Yeah. We're reading a CNBC article, so I'm not sure from Japan Airlines standpoint if they're targeting this for we want to make sure you don't have to sit near young children, or if they kind of like went a different route and made up some classier way of saying that.
From what I understand, it's only showing up on select accounts under certain circumstances. So like if you book through like say Orbitz or Hotwire or something, it won't show up. But if you book directly with them, it will. There are a lot of hot takes on social on this one, and people are saying that it's anti-children, that it's trying to make parents feel bad, which we mostly agree with.
Yeah.
But there are some good things, I guess. The best thing being that all the intolerant people that hate kids can sit away from us.
The other thing is that for families who don't mind it, if you look at the seat map and you see where other children are sitting, maybe you want to sit around those other children. Yeah, so you could look at it from that standpoint. Now, I don't think that's why they did it. I think they did it for the people who don't want to be around the children. But if we're trying to see some like silver linings here, if you want to be the one sitting around the kids and knowing that you're okay with babies crying, or even people who don't have kids themselves, but they know that they're just have, been around kids and they don't mind it, then maybe you would automatically just kind of sit in those seats.
Right. So the big reason that I don't particularly like this, because I think it's probably just poor expectation setting. If you're a person that's picking your seat because you don't want to sit next to a small child, man, are you going to have an eye-opening experience when the aircraft changes, or your seat gets reassigned, or somebody books after you, or the list goes on. So I could just envision angry scenario at the desk, like, I didn't want to sit next to a kid, but here I am.
Yeah, and that happens quite often. I mean, planes get swapped, seats get swapped. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we come in last minute, so we never select our seat. So, and we have 2 kids, one over 2 and one under 2, obviously. But nobody would know in advance, so it can't even really work for all scenarios.
It just feels like bad expectation setting.
And the article says that there are other airlines that do a similar thing, like AirAsia has a quiet zone.
See, I understand that. That doesn't like discriminate against a certain subset.
It doesn't apply just to kids. It could be just people who want to sit. It's like having the quiet car on the train, or things like that. You just want to sit in a quiet spot, or you don't mind a little noise. But sometimes there are people, and we've said this before, people who are not children that are just as loud or sometimes louder.
I want an indicator for the guy that intends to get drunk on the plane. Ooh, or the one that like wants to talk on his phone the whole time. And is
obnoxious and rude. The person who who's sitting on the aisle seat and they steal the middle person's armrest.
Right.
Can we also have an icon for those people?
And for the record, the window seat controls the shade. The middle seat has the rights to the armrest. and the aisle seat gets to get up whenever they please.
Unwritten
That's how
rules.
it goes.
But yeah, I mean, we could go on and on about etiquette, plane etiquette. So it doesn't apply just to children, which is the disappointing part of this.
Being a parent and traveling is hard enough, and this just adds to it.
Yeah.
It's already, man, they're already like making markers for us to like, oh, I don't know, should we just not travel?
Right? Especially if this is like your first or second time flying with a young baby.
Yep.
You're already probably a little bit nervous, and now you have to be like, have this whole new set of expectations that children shouldn't cry on planes. And I don't care where you are, a plane, your own house, a baby's a baby, and they cry.
We've all cried. We were all babies once. So
Yes.
remember that.
Yeah, totally. Jeez. I have no issues with babies, but if I can avoid the risk of a parent who lets their child run amok, I'm happy to take advantage. So that's like a testimonial from someone reacting to that news. I mean, your kid can run up and down the aisle regardless of where you're sitting, so I don't...
And you're going into public anyway. Actually, if you're going to sit next to a kid that's running up and down the aisle, it's probably the best place because they're not by you.
I can understand when you have situations where the kid is kind of like kicking the back of your seat and the parent doesn't do anything to try to stop it. But those are older kids, over 2, who are usually doing that anyway, so this really wouldn't help that.
And that's when you just say something to the kid.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'm totally on board with, like, getting a little upset about those situations because there are things the parents can do to kind of help.
Should do.
Yeah, avoid that. But as far as your children crying, like,
Right.
you can't always control that, so.
You can never control that on a little kid. Now what they should do is like 2 to 6 or something like that. That would be a little more reasonable.
I don't have problems with indicating things in the seat map, but when they pinpoint a certain group, that's where I think it's, you know, it's just, it's like when people tell you to bring the goodie bags for the people sitting around you. It's unnecessary. Kids are kids. You don't need to take extra steps like that. You just need to be a kind individual and be okay with what happens around you. I mean,
I'll take this opportunity to have a little mimosa. So let's pivot this into something a little bit more positive, and let's talk about how do you help out parents with small children on the plane? Obviously, you have an interest in travel and families if you're watching this.
Are you turning this into a travel tip? I thought this was just going to be travel talk. There might be a few tips to come, yeah.
You got it. If a baby is crying, don't glare at the mom or dad. Obviously, they're not having the best time. Maybe offer to help.
We've had people do that, or sitting around us.
Give you a break.
Yeah. They'll, you know, we've had just super friendly people offer. Flight attendants even do that.
Oh yeah. A toddler meltdown is easily stopped by somebody else coming in and saying, "What's wrong? Can I help you out?" Or, "You look mighty silly screaming like that." Either way, interacting with the toddler, somebody that's not their parents, generally helps diffuse the situation.
It does, yeah.
So don't just glare at the parents.
Or even if you see somebody coming into the seat next to you that has a young child, even just saying like something in advance along the lines of, "I've been there, no worries on this flight, I'm cool." We've had those people too, and it is just, you're just like, it's very relieving.
And those people always get bought a drink, by the way. For us, at least, we're always like, "Hey, you want a drink while you're here?" Yep.
Yeah. I will say one thing in the favor of Japan Airlines. They offer bottle warming services. So
All right.
at least they're doing something for babies.
I mean, maybe they're child-friendly, and maybe it's just something that's like taken the wrong way.
I think they're just trying to appeal to
The business traveler.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they did research and majority of the people who travel on that airline are...
Not wanting to interact with children.
Yeah. We'd like to hear what you think.
Should this be a thing that catches on in America?
You know our thoughts on this.
What are yours?
Yeah, what are yours? Do you think that all airlines should offer these icons to let travelers know where babies are going to be seated? And should they do it, if you think they should do it, should it be for just baby age or older children as well?
We look forward to an absolutely lit discussion.
Yeah.
On
So
our comments.
let's get some good comments rolling here because I'm interested to see what other people think. When you go on social media, it's all across the board.
Yep.
You know, everyone And it's usually strong opinions one way or the other. It's not like people are middle of the road. So I'm very intrigued to see what people think.
Until then, have a great rest of the week. Thanks for sticking with us. If you like this kind of discussion, make sure you subscribe and hit us up on the rest of social.
Yeah.
Our Twitter is infamous for hot takes. So.
Yeah, very. He controls the Twitter. So let us know if you like this, because we're going to try to do these every so often when something strikes us in the news.
Yep.
But until then,
have a good night.